Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from a studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
These are our topics for today. As always, we have some interesting stories to share with you, so stay with us. Well, let's get started. First up is Executive Insight. Utsuda-san, what's the topic today?
Yes, now first of all, if you can take a look at this over here. As you can see, they're cards with pictures on them,
Right.
and they're called trading cards. And these ones over here on the table here, they're the products of the top 3 card makers in Japan. And these series of cards, these particular ones are sold overseas, including the US and other countries in Asia.
see.
But have you ever played with these trading cards?
Well, I actually have once when I went to report about World Championship of this trading card. But the competition was packed with people, not only from people in Japan, but from competitors from abroad. There was a lot of enthusiasm there.
So you've actually seen how popular
Right.
they are. And me, myself, I've never played with them ever. But as the name implies, these trading cards are bought, sold, and exchanged between friends and other players. And using them as singles or in combination, you battle with others to build up your own collection.
I see. So when did this trading card actually started?
Well, it's said that they first appeared about 20 years ago in the US. And at first, they were promoted as a way to test the thinking skills of players, meaning you compete and it's a bit like a sport, for example. But
see.
they eventually expanded into a game where anyone can play and enjoy. And now they're players in Japan and around the world.
So how big is the market right now in Japan?
Well, we have a chart over here. In 2011, the market in Japan exceeded $1 billion. But as you can see, sales have been slipping since 2012. And the reason is said that the primary school players who are elementary school-aged boys have turned their interest into a new toy.
A new toy, meaning what toy?
Well, the biggest rival to trading cards is actually mobile gaming devices. And interestingly, they say that whenever a new mobile game software comes out, the card sales drop, and shops specializing in these trading cards have less customers.
Well, with the limited amount of playtime for children, I guess mobile game is more attractive. But nowadays I see quite a lot of adults playing on their smartphones.
Yes, I think you're right. It's not just children anymore, is it? But the spread of smartphones is starting to force trading card makers to pursue a new strategy. And this time we had a chance to speak to Takaaki Kidani, who's the president of Bushiroad, which is a trading card maker. So take a look.
Executive Insight. In this trading card game, 2 players battle each other. Cards are placed on a board to strengthen their positions and to attack. Unlike chess, the players can combine 2 or more of the cards to improve their advantage. These players appear engrossed in the game.
There's no correct combination. That's the fun.
Bushiroad is a company whose core business is trading cards. 7 years since its establishment, sales have grown to over $150 million. We spoke to the founder and president, Takaaki Kidani.
What made you focus on card games in the first place?
There were no dedicated makers, and I felt it was a business opportunity. There are several ways to enjoy card games. First is building up your own unique deck. Second is playing. And finally, trading. You can exchange and play with them as a collection. I believe no other toy incorporates this many factors of fun.
This is the company's main trading card game, Vanguard. Battles take place not on Earth, but another planet in the future. This number indicates the strength of the fighters. The player with the higher number wins. But that's not all. By combining various cards, it's possible to gain additional strength. A series of weak cards can even beat a single card with a higher number. The power balance can flip at any time.
It's quite a complex game. I was surprised to hear that even children play it. Does it take time to learn?
分かってもらうのに時間はかかりませんでしたか？こう普及させる活動みたいな。
We've tried to make the game as simple as possible. This game now has 2,000 types of cards, so we have to make sure it's balanced. If some cards are exceptionally strong, then all you need to do is buy them. There's no need to buy anything else. In a competition, everyone would have the same set. It doesn't work unless you have a balance among sets of various patterns. This is a world of advanced mathematics.
Players buy and accumulate cards they like and choose 50 for each battle. Each card is about 30 cents. One of the company's strategies to expand the user base is to hold regular events. This event attracted about 4,000 people.
では、トレオカーニバル1回戦始めてください。
The company randomly pairs up opponents. That means most are battling each other for the first time.
でパワーが5枚あるので2000枚上がります。
はい、どうぞ。なんだ相手強すぎるだろう、硬いよ。すか。やば。よし、じゃあ行くで。1点からチェックで1点かっこよく決めるここで。なした。ありがとうございました。俺はトレーディング。
I use trading cards as a communication tool. I like it because I can make friends with strangers.
気軽に仲良くできるところがいいと思います。
Trading cards have become a tool for people to make new friends.
So it's about going out and doing something with other people.
For example, if you look at the field of music, the number of big concerts and concert goers has doubled compared to 10 years ago. But CD sales have dropped. The reason is the desire of people to feel excitement with others who like the same music in the same space. I think there's a demand for a live experience. In a sense, card games are a live event.
Through events, the company has been growing the fan base and sales of related products. In Japan, trading card games is an $850 million business. The top 6 companies account for most of the market.
I understand there are many new entrants.
Yes, that's right. But the ones that came in over the past 10 years all pulled out.
So how has Bushiroad managed to weather the competition? One of the reasons can be seen by peering into the trading card specialty shops of the various companies. Players of Bushiroad's games span a wide age range. There are even families. The shops are aggressively promoting Bushiroad products.
Sometimes our customers become friends with each other. When that happens, they tend to come back to the shop to see their friends and become our regular customers. So then they buy our products.
To attract more people to their shops, the company is constantly laying the groundwork by promoting tournaments on their website and holding game seminars. They They also work closely with specialty shops that can provide a venue to hold competitions.
Card games are basically pieces of paper. There has to be an infrastructure to be able to hold tournaments anywhere in Japan. Including the words and numbers, cards are a collection of information. The several thousand cards are test played and filled with information.
September, the Tokyo Game Show. Amid the numerous companies competing for customers with technology-infused games, Bushiroad held a press conference to announce a new trading card game. Their target is elementary school students, a lower age group than for previous products. The reason is very clear.
In about 5 years, the generation that was in elementary school during the first card game boom will become parents. A new generation of parents and children who can play card games together will emerge. So we have to start to nurture the next base of users now.
The company is also looking overseas. Vanguard has been expanding its market in 50 countries and regions, including Singapore, the United States, England, and Greece. The shrinking population in Japan is a major factor.
The market in Japan will gradually start to shrink. I believe it's important to expand overseas, especially in Southeast Asia, quickly. But the question of how big a market we can develop is a key issue, not just for entertainment-focused companies, but Japanese business as a whole.
A major hub for the company's overseas aspirations is Singapore.
In Singapore, we will do outdoor advertising on buses and subways, and in stations. We will focus on reaching primary and secondary school students.
Their aim is not only to develop Singapore as a market, but to use the country as a launching pad for further overseas expansion by producing English language versions and goods locally.
I imagine overseas expansion for products related to culture or language present quite a big hurdle. So what is your strategy?
We've just completed test playing our new game called Buddy Fight, and we'll release the English version first. It will be produced at a factory in Singapore. We will export the English version globally, so we'll produce that first. Localization will be based on the English version.
The company plans to carry out a worldwide launch. They say it's part of a strategy to prevent counterfeiting.
How do you see the company in the future?
It's more about competition than running a commercial business. I want to continue to find strong opponents and challenge them. I am always aiming to be number one. We're scoping out opportunities in many different fields, but I only want to compete in an area where we can become number one.
Stacking an analog game against an increasingly digital world. The company's battle continues.
Together, let's generate happiness. Let's raise the world to new heights. Let's carry our dreams further. At the heart of society, Toshiba Technology. For a growing future, Toshiba. Together, let's create better healthcare. Let's develop a sustainable environment. Let's give children a promising tomorrow. At the heart of society, Toshiba Technology. For a growing future, Toshiba.
Welcome to Tokyo Skytree. This is the grand panoramic view from 450 meters. Here you'll experience the unforgettable. Look, enjoy, be amazed, and be awestruck. That's what Tokyo Skytree is all about. Japan's latest landmark, Tokyo Skytree.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world, Kobelco.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. Our next segment is Project Japan.
Well, I asked you because our next topic is the Tokyo Motor Show.
Let's see.
And now car shows like this are held around the world. We have a map over here. And the events in Japan, Germany, Switzerland, the US and France are considered to be some of the biggest.
Well, I understand Tokyo Motor Show has quite a lot of history.
It does, it does. The Tokyo Motor Show has been held 43 times since 1954. And in the inaugural event, nearly 270 vehicles were on display and more than 250 companies attended. So it was one of the biggest industry shows at the time.
Concept car and soon-to-be released models always get a lot of attention at those events. But what's the main theme this year?
Well, this year the slogan was "Compete and Shape a New Future." So to find out what we can expect in coming years, we spoke to some of the top car executives on site. So take a look.
The Project Japan. 177 companies participated in this year's Tokyo Motor Show. Making their world debut were a total of 76 vehicles.
I'm at the Tokyo Motor Show, and today members of the press have been invited. Now, this show is counted as one of the 5 major motor shows in the world, but its global presence has been declining in recent years since Japan's market is shrinking. Now, we're here to see today what kind of new technologies are on display to draw more attention from around the world.
Taking center stage were EVs, or electric vehicles. This is the CEO of Nissan Motor, Carlos Ghosn. The company had initially set a goal of selling 1.5 million EVs by fiscal 2016. But due to delays in setting up recharging facilities, they announced that the plan had been pushed back. Amid this, an unusual car was unveiled to speed the spread of EVs. A sports car with a unique design modeled on a supersonic jet.
Innovation and excitement are also at the heart of the Nissan Blade Glider concept. The Blade Glider provides a glimpse into the potential of Nissan's electric vehicle program. Unconventional? Absolutely. Even, I would say, radical. And that was our intent. With the Blade Glider, our designers and engineers set out to challenge conventional thinking about vehicle architectures.
It has an unusual shape. It's not like a typical car.
You can experience the same feeling that you would get driving at 300 kilometers per hour in a regular car. And it's also emission-free.
Unlike the past, the company is no longer competing on horsepower and fuel efficiency alone. What Toyota Motor Show showed off was an FCV, or fuel cell vehicle. They say they will launch commercial sales in 2015. Questions remain about the practical application of FCVs. But Toyota also faced such skepticism when it announced their hybrid car. Vindicated by the success of the Prius, they hope to once again take the lead in FCVs. Two years ago, company president Akio Toyoda was seen at the event with a somewhat stiff expression on his face.
I believe the future won't be a debate between hybrids and electric vehicles. Consumers will make the ultimate choice. But there is more than just one choice.
In contrast, this year he appeared in high spirits as he greeted visitors.
Cars will continue to be a mode of transport for us. Cars are something that evokes excitement and exhilaration. Cars are unmistakably a growth industry. Globally, sales are growing at 4%. In 15 years, they will double. There are markets like Japan where ownership is in flux, but globally, volumes still have plenty of room to go up. So Japanese car makers are competing across the globe.
With Europe shrinking and fast-growing India slipping into reverse this year, the car industry faces a bumpy road ahead. The reasons for Mr. Toyoda's confidence in the future were evident throughout the event. One of them, specialized vehicles that promise to open up new markets. This is Toyota's JPN Taxi.
We have Mr. Kayuka, who's the chief engineer who designed this Japan taxi, so I'm going to ask him a few questions. Kayuka-san,
what's the concept?
When visitors from overseas step off a train, the first thing they see is the scene in front of the station. We wanted to change that atmosphere.
Sliding doors allow easy wheelchair access. Destination and other information are shown on a display. They say the concept may be commercialized if they get a good response at the show. This unusual box-like car is made by Daihatsu Motor.
What is this?
It's a new way of opening the door. The door opens like this.
The door is operated like a smartphone. This is actually a light truck that runs on fuel cell batteries. Since a liquid nitrogen fuel is used, it can be made more compact and at a lower cost than current hydrogen fuel cell cars. Daihatsu also announced a new initiative in the area of light vehicles.
We created a new value for cars. You can exchange body parts. We developed this with the idea of expanding the enjoyment of cars and sports cars.
So, how does it work? In their demonstration, the various parts of a green-colored car are exchanged one after another. When completed, it's transformed into an orange car. It is basically the car version of a dress-up doll. Company president Masanori Mitsui says they will beef up their business across Asia.
We have operations in Indonesia and Malaysia. We want to increase exports of various models from those locations to other countries in the near future. We're also thinking of expanding into a third or fourth country.
Meanwhile, an official of Mazda Motors says they are looking at compressed natural gas as one fuel option in the future.
Shale gas is attracting a lot of attention, but we're looking at CNG as one solution. Our car is a hybrid of gas and gasoline. We haven't decided on a timeline for commercialization, but are moving forward with that in mind.
Carving out a new field with technology developed in Japan is Subaru.
Japan is the world's toughest market. We've incorporated the latest technology.
That technology is an autonomous driving support system for accident avoidance. Their anti-collision technology has already been commercialized. This is an advanced version.
Japan is the world's toughest market. We've incorporated the latest technology.
When the car is moving at a fast speed and is about to veer out of the lane, it smoothly steers the car back. It's one step closer to fully autonomous driving. This year, each company promoted models that offer a value different from conventional cars. Underlying that is a sense of crisis about the shrinking number of younger drivers. According to a survey carried out by the Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association, cars were at the top of the wish lists of older consumers, but ranked low among 20 to 30-year-olds and college students. Amid this, there are moves toward cooperation between industries. Honda held a joint news conference with electronics maker Toshiba and home builder Sekisui House.
Hydrogen will be produced using solar cells to be used for fuel cells. By supplying homes with power from cars instead, we want to strengthen the linkage between homes and cars. Through diversified technologies and perspectives, we can realize a more convenient and efficient way of life. Until recently, the fields of cars and infrastructure operated separately. A new opportunity is arising now. To speed up the spread of technology, companies from different industries are working as one.
Their proposal is to link the home to the car.
This car's battery can supply household electricity needs for 6 days.
Under normal circumstances, electricity will be supplied from the home to the car. But in an emergency, the car can provide power for the home. With a mobility vehicle also allowing a person to move around the home while seated, they've laid out a vision of life in the future. What's more, walking around the venue, a concept to further personalize cars.
It's an electric vehicle that combines the convenient handling of a motorcycle and the riding ease of a car without the need to have driving skills. It's the best of both worlds.
The Mobility is a compact vehicle that can seat up to 2 people for a short ride to the supermarket or other nearby location.
Really smoothly, it's unbelievably easy to turn around in really tight circles. And it's really easy to drive. It was really enjoyable. 楽しいこれすごい
Cars are aggressively making inroads to areas once considered niche. Those efforts are breathing a new wind into the industry.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green solar power systems in Singapore.
Sistem AC ramah lingkungan di Indonesia.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do this? We make things like this possible through the power of chemistry. We're the Kaiteki Company, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next up is an episode from World Business Satellite. Well, Utsuda-san, today's topic is about shortage of childcare workers, right?
Yes, that's right. Now, we covered the issue of waitlisted children in a previous program, and waitlisted children meaning children who are on waiting lists to get into nurseries or after-school childcare facilities. And it's estimated that about 500,000 children are waiting to get into authorized nurseries.
That many. Well, I think that a simple solution would be to build more facilities, but actually there's a shortage of workers there.
That's unfortunately the situation. So we have a report on what companies are doing to address the issue. Take a look.
nursery in Chiba City. It was set up by a company called Nichii Gakkan. In this class, a staff of 2 looks after 9 two-year-olds. This is a government-approved nursery that meets minimum staffing requirements. The company plans to increase the number of facilities nationwide by 70% this fiscal year. They hope to accommodate the growing number of wait-listed children. But nurseries such as these are facing a certain problem.
From now on, there will be a constant shortage of workers. So we're looking for people all the time.
Increasing the number of facilities naturally requires a bigger pool of nursery workers. But finding qualified personnel has become difficult. The biggest obstacle is pay. The average annual salary is $31,500, over $15,000 less than the national average, a major disincentive for would-be workers.
It's a situation in which we're fighting over workers. There are quite a lot of people who are certified, but who don't work. The biggest issue for us and our competitors is how to bring them back into the fold.
According to a survey by the Labor Ministry, 40% of those certified as nursery care workers cited the heavy responsibilities as reasons for quitting. The responsibility of guarding a child's life. There are moves to alleviate that worry.
We will teach how to minimize accidents, what to do when a child can't breathe, and general first aid.
This training session is being conducted with the help of an expert on emergency first aid. On this day, about 90 current nursery care workers participated.
This maneuver is said to be the most effective at dislodging an obstruction.
There's a reason for holding such a big session.
I don't have a lot of time, and it's difficult to do something like this at our nursery.
Since workers are constantly busy during the day, training at most nurseries remains insufficient.
It's scary not knowing. If I have the knowledge, a lot of problems can be avoided. These sessions are very important.
It's said that many workers leave the field because of the heavy responsibility they face if something happens to a child under their care. That's why nursery operator Poppins was entrusted by Saitama Prefecture from last year to conduct these sessions.
By holding more of these sessions, we want to fill in those areas that workers feel worried about. We believe it will help stop the outflow of workers.
Some companies are also assisting former workers to get back into the field. 2 people are visiting a nursery in Yokohama. The woman, who quit working at a nursery after giving birth, is looking to be re-employed.
Why are you interested in our nursery?
I heard you accommodate workers with children.
Ms. Sato was introduced to this nursery by Mr. Komiyama. Mr. Komiyama accompanies applicants to the interview and even handles negotiations. He is in charge of sales at Imagine, a recruitment agency for nursery care workers. The company has contracts with 255 nurseries in Yokohama and acts as a bridge for the industry and workers.
ちょっと保育士から遠ざかっていた方の復帰っていうのを多くの保育園様が望まれてますし、またそういった方も含めて私たちはご紹介させていただいているっていう。
Prospective workers are also getting a helping hand. Yumi Abe works as an assistant at a nursery authorized by the Tokyo government. She is studying for the certification examination while working.
In my job before, it was very difficult to put my child in daycare and work at the same time. I then realized that this was the perfect job for me. That's the biggest reason.
Drawn to this field, she began working at the nursery last year without any experience. She feels on-the-job training will help her pass the exam.
I felt that if I studied, acquired the knowledge, and actually spent time with children, I would better understand what it takes to become a nursery care worker.
Ms. Abe was formerly an office assistant. Since she's comfortable using a computer, she was put in charge of putting together materials for parents. This nursery is run by a subsidiary of major employment agency Pasona Group. They are seeking out people without experience or certification who want to work in nurseries.
I don't think there are a lot of jobs that you can switch to from other industries after you become 30 or 40 years old, and even work up to management positions like a principal or director.
Since Ms. Abe puts her child in another nursery, her work hours are still limited. But now she heads to...
I have a little time before picking up my child, so I'm going to go study at a public study room.
She uses all her available time to prepare for the exam. At around sunset, she's done studying and goes to pick up her child.
Without doubt, the pay is quite low compared to my past job. But I've chosen emotional wealth rather than financial wealth. It's a job I can do for a long time. I think I can manage to do this work while raising my child.
How to nurture the dwindling pool of nursery care workers is an issue that will need continued attention.
Well, Tsuda-san, so let's move on to our next topic.
Moving on, our next topic is sleep. So, Demi-san, do you sleep well every night?
Fairly well, I think.
You do? That's good to hear, because we have a chart over here that compares sleep hours of working people around the world.
Wow. Well, it appears Japanese get less amount of sleep compared to other countries.
That seems to be the case, so it's good to hear you're sleeping well, but many people don't have that many sleep hours, and one of the reasons cited is the extremely long work hours in Japan, and so regardless of weekdays or weekends, many Japanese tend to suffer from a chronic lack of sleep.
Well, they say constant sleep deficit can make you drowsy during the day and less motivated, as well as affect your memory and psychological condition, right?
Yes, I think you're right, and that's not all, because just to give an example, according to the Health, Labour and Welfare Ministry, the less sleep a person gets, the higher possibility the person will see a marked change in hormones, which regulate appetite, which leads to possible overeating. So lack of sleep will even have an effect on your eating habits.
Wow.
So now that we know how important sleep actually is, we have a report on the business of sleep. Take a look.
This October, a certain event was held at a branch of a major furniture chain. A one-night sleepover inside the store. 5 families were invited to take part.
We hope you can all experience sleep and together discuss the topic during dinner.
The menu on this night includes red beets and other foods said to be conducive to sound slumber.
These chestnuts also contain elements that induce sleep.
After dinner, they all head to the bed and bedding section.
Please choose according to your sleeping position. We recommend those who sleep on their side to choose a higher pillow.
The staff advised the customers on the most suitable bedding.
It looks fluffy. Is it comfortable?
After their choices are made, the organizer announces the bed assignments for the night.
The Yamaguchi family. This will be your room.
The participants will sleep in beds displayed on the sales floor. The staff help the families make their beds. Shortly after 10 p.m., they're done. Being in a different environment appears to make the children a bit restless. At midnight, it's lights out. One by one, they awake, rubbing their eyes. So what did the participants learn about sleep through this event?
I learned for the first time that people who sleep on their side and those that sleep on their back should use a different type of pillow. It was very helpful. I used to think expensive meant better, but I slept really well with reasonably priced bedding, so it was a good experience.
These events are being held as part of the store's efforts to drive sales of bed and bedding products.
We feel this topic is important in Japan, and therefore we put actually bedroom as our biggest commercial priority in this year.
In Japan, bed and bedding accounts for just 30% of total sales, compared to about 50% in the US and Europe. The company hopes to increase the sales ratio in Japan to a comparable level. As part of that, they revamped the bed and bedding section.
This is the mattress section. We made the biggest changes here.
Previously, they used gray as the primary color for the interior. Now the walls and floor are black to create an entirely different atmosphere.
We renovated it to offer customers a more high-end feel.
They also changed the way product information is displayed.
It's up there.
By placing it on the ceiling above the bed, customers can learn about a product as they lie down.
よろしくお願いします。今日お集まりいただいたのは、
Another change was staff training. By getting the entire staff and not just those in the bed and bedding section to acquire knowledge about sleep, they aim to improve overall customer service.
After doing some research, we found that wooden boards can affect the quality of sleep by 25%.
They say placing wooden boards under the mattress can improve the sleeping experience.
It's completely different. It's really different.
By revamping the sales floor as well as strengthening staff training, the chain believes it can awaken a new appreciation of sleep among customers.
With the small money even to improve my way of sleeping. So I think it's a movement that starts this.
Bed and bedding makers are also bolstering promotional activities. This store, opened by Nishikawa Sangyo in August, encourages staff to proactively advise customers on how to get a good night's rest.
You've said that you wake up several times a night. I suspect that you're not using the right pillow and mattress.
The customer's body pressure is measured using the store's recommended health mattress. The red-colored areas disappear, indicating that his weight is evenly distributed.
I don't believe I can solve 100% of my problems, but it would make me happy if I can find products to improve my sleep by even 50%.
According to a study by the company, 2 out of 3 people were found to be dissatisfied with their sleep. In fact, sales of sleep-related products have been growing in the past several years, despite a slowdown after the global financial crisis. There are also moves to pinpoint the scientific causes for unsound slumber. Starting in June, this clinic incorporated sleep exams in its comprehensive health screening program.
This is a brainwave exam. It's used to evaluate the quality of sleep, how deep a person sleeps and how quickly they fall asleep.
They use a device the size of a business card attached with 2 electrodes. This is the first small EEG device certified as medical equipment by the Japanese government. By placing the electrodes on the temples and behind the ears when going to sleep, they can monitor brain wave activity and the sleep state.
Our facility prepares this kind of report card. It allows us to determine the quality of sleep and any possible sleep-related problems and ailments.
The sleep state is ranked using a 3-tier scale. Based on factors such as sleep quality, they can also find out the age of a patient's brain waves. What's more, they say it's possible to determine if someone is at risk of sleep apnea syndrome. Seeing growing demand for this type of sleep data exam, the clinic plans to expand services. The device was developed by this entrepreneurial venture. They say they've collected data on about 20,000 cases.
Sleep exams until now required detailed clinical tests such as overnight polysomnography, but there has been virtually no data measuring sleep inside the home.
These analytical methods are also catching the attention of businesses. At the laboratories of Lion, a meeting is being held to exchange views on the potential uses for small EEG devices. The company has already started measuring the impact health drinks have on sleep.
Sleep measurements taken during an overnight stay at the hospital and those taken inside a person's home are clearly different. So I think it's very meaningful for people to be able to use this device to monitor their brainwaves on their own.
With modern life becoming increasingly hectic, more companies will likely awaken to the potential of sleep.
Well, as shown in the video, I heard that the pillows and mattresses can make a big difference, but it certainly seems like potentially a big business.
It certainly does, doesn't it? Now, actually, there are certain things that they say you shouldn't do before going to bed, and playing with your mobile phone is one of them, because there's something called a blue light that's emitted from the screen that is said to be detrimental to sleep.
Right, I try to avoid doing that, but I can't help checking my emails and catch up on the news on my smartphone before I go to bed.
But it's said that if you look at work emails before going to bed on your phone, it could stimulate your brain and it makes it harder for you to fall asleep. So it definitely isn't recommended to do work on your phone if you want to go to sleep in bed.
Well, to perform at the peak of my abilities, I need to get more control over my sleep. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.
Sou uma pessoa comum. Eu gosto de apreciar todos os momentos do meu dia. Quanto isso pode me motivar? Como eu posso me manter focada? Tudo ao meu redor, incluindo os momentos do meu dia a dia, é o que eu preciso para me concentrar para a minha luta de 90 minutos. Quero dar esperança às pessoas. A better life, a better world.
Panasonic.
Mitsui & Company.
For Earth, for life, Kubota.
One day has finished, and one new day has started on somewhere in the world. Kubota supports every moment somewhere out in the world. By the mechanization of agriculture, by the maintenance of water infrastructure, by the latest environmental engineering. We support a prosperous life for humans while protecting the environment of this beautiful Earth. Food, water, and the environment link the world. Kubota.
Channel Japan. Your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.